thoughtful recognition, they'll begin to do the same thing. And it starts to spread through the organization from one person to the next because it's a behavior that becomes an accepted behavior. It becomes very, very, very powerful. How do you do this? First thing you need to do, there's several steps. First thing you need to do is gather specifics. Find out what it is. Answer the 5 questions that we talked about in terms of gathering the specific. What did Tomas do? How did Tomas do it? Why did Tomas do it? For whom did Tomas do it? And how did we all benefit from it? 5 questions. The second thing you want to do is do it right now. Tomas has a very successful month, and we don't recognize him for 6 months later. It's not, the communication, the recognition is not as effective as it could have been. Involved recognition is most effective when it's used as close to the event as possible. Now, you want to be careful on this next one. The third point is you need to go public. Experts will tell you. You want to recognize people publicly. I want you to be a little careful with this one. Involved recognition is very, very powerful when you recognize people publicly. But I personally know a number of individuals who feel very uncomfortable about public recognition. And if you really are a leader, and you really take the time to get to know your people and really get to know them well, you'll know that someone may feel uncomfortable with that process. So although you recognize them publicly, you may call them aside and say, look, Susan, we're going to recognize you today, and I want to acknowledge you, and we're going to bring you up on stage, and I know you're a little uncomfortable about that, but be with it. And you can work it to your advantage so that you can do that. Now, when do you practice involved recognition? First thing is, never again should any of us in this room begin an employee meeting in any other way than involved recognition. You should never have an employee meeting that does not begin with recognition, involved recognition. What a wonderful way to set the tone for any meeting. Doesn't matter to me what the meeting is. To say to the people in your meeting, excuse me, hold on a second, before we begin to get to the heart of the matter, I'd like to take a moment to recognize Marco. You know, Marco, you took on this challenge with that one customer, and they were feeling unheard, and you, from a customer service point of view, you got on the phone, you made the customer feel heard, they felt empowered by that, their relationship is improved with our company. You did a great, great job. Thank you very much. Now, what did you do? First of all, you did your homework. So you found out what he did. You found out how he did it. He got on the phone. You found out why he did it and how we all benefited from it. And you applied that at the beginning of a meeting. A second strategy is Employee of the Month. How much better can we do Employee of the Month? You know, we take a plaque and we put it up and we say, Tomas, Marco, Beverly, Susan, Troy, you're Employee of the Month. And that's all we do is we put their name up there, Employee of the Month. Why couldn't we take 3 sentences and say, this month it's Troy, and Troy handled this objection from this client such that the client's feelings were improved and they're now have a stronger relationship with our company. Hats off to Troy. Wow. How does Troy feel?
Great.
We've got his picture, it's on a plaque, but we've told the world what he did to deserve that. How difficult is it? How much time does it take? None. It's a very powerful tool. Press releases. You know, if an employee, think about this one. If an employee does a particularly good job and it's worthy of your recognition, why isn't it worthy for your public relations or communications staff to send out a press release saying that Jill was recognized by the company this month for doing X, Y, or Z? Who cares whether it gets published in the paper? Because, see, you're going to send a copy of it to Jill. You're going to put it in the company newsletter. Don't hold up. Well, the newspaper's not interested in that. The employee's interested in that. And the employee walks away saying, the company felt strongly enough about me that they did this. Final strategy. It's called Recognize 5. This is a strategy that I implore you all, take this one home. This one will alter your company, even if you've got the best company or department going. And the way it works is that every single manager that reports directly to you, don't worry about, taking on the whole company. Look at the people that report directly to you. How many people do you have reporting directly to you? I think you said 6 or 7?
6.
6. Okay. So let's start with 7. You and 6 people. What we're going to ask you to do is that every week you're going to recognize 5 people. And every week the 6 who report to you are going to recognize 5 people. But you're going to do it in a very specific way. You're going to send a handwritten note answering these 5 questions. What did you do? How did you do it? Why did you do it? What was the outcome? And how did the company benefit? A quick little handwritten note. And you're going to send 5 a week to employees. Handwritten. Please do not use email. Please do not use email. I underscore that. And the reason is simple. Good job, Tomas. Tomas was numb to good job, Tomas, wasn't he? How do you think he feels about email? It is now the most favored, preferred form of communication, surpassing the telephone. Okay? How effective is it, though? Maybe for recognition, maybe not as effective as other forms. So send the handwritten note, articulating, here's what you did, here's why you did it, here's who you did it for, here's how we benefited from it, thanks, keep up the good work, signed, Troy. Send it off. 5 a week, 1 a day. Do that for 90 days. Come back and tell me what's happening in your organization. Recognize 5 will alter your company. Now, there's different ways you can do Recognize 5. One way is you can send it to the employee's home. Wow. What do you think Tomas is going to do when he gets home tomorrow night and he's got a handwritten note in his mailbox? What do you think he's going to do the next day?
Come see you. Thank you. Talk about it.
What do you think he's going to do to the people who work next to him?
Show it to him.
Sure, he's going to show it off. Yeah. Use the grapevine. Use, people inside the company talk to one another. Tomas is going to say, look what I got. Look what I got. I got a handwritten note from the big guy. And Tomas is going to be proud about that. We've even had a client that we encouraged. He sent a handwritten note to the spouse of an employee who had been particularly dedicated for 90 or 120 days, saying, thanks for giving up so much time of your spouses. The spouse got a handwritten note. How powerful is that, do you think? See what I mean about it doesn't cost anything? It just takes some time, some thought, and a little handwritten note in this particular case with Recognize 5. Have you ever noticed this? Oftentimes in business, we're faced with challenges, and we tend to choose the solution that's the most complicated and the most expensive. Have you ever noticed that? That if it's not an if someone walks into your department and says, look, I can solve all your problems and won't cost you a dime, how do you feel about that? Skeptical, exactly. Here's one of those solutions. We can provide a recognition strategy for your company that's not going to cost you a dime. Take you a little bit of time. What we've learned today is recognition is the key to motivation. We've all known it. Fear and incentive motivation don't work. We learned that today. We've learned that the good job Harry, that short form of recognition, falls on deaf ears, or as Tomas said, he's numb to it. We've learned that involved recognition is appreciated by all the employees, and we've learned that in order to do involved recognition properly, we have to answer 5 questions. What did the person do? How did the person do it? For whom did they do it? Why did they do it? and how did we benefit? What did we as a company get out of this process? What did we learn or what did we get? And there's 3 steps to practicing. We learned there's 3 steps to practicing involved recognition. First of all, gather the facts. Second, do it now. Third, go public. Again, you want to be careful with the going public part. If we will take involved recognition as a company theme and say we're going to practice this every day, and if we look for opportunities to practice involved recognition, starting every meeting with involved recognition, our Employee of the Month program, our press releases, do an effective, what we call, quote-unquote, way to go card campaign. Just say, way to go, congratulations, nice job kind of campaign, or implement Recognize 5. If we will practice this form of involved recognition, it'll change your company. Just try these strategies. Take them back tomorrow and just try these strategies. See for yourself what a difference they will make in your company, your performance, and your productivity.